Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Crystal Stockdale, and I want to welcome you to our third webinar in our webinar series this summer, Recruiting IT at Iowa. For those of you who haven't met me previously, I am the Director of Employer Engagement on campus, and what that means is I get to help you guys hire more Hawkeyes. So I work with our employer team to help consult employers on recruitment strategies for building relationships on campus and hiring the most of our students. And today I have with me Kelly Delfas.
Hello there, I'm Kelly Delfas. I'm the Director of Professional Development in the College of Engineering. I work with employers to specifically help them connect with students within the College of Engineering, and also work with our students to kind of help them develop those career development skills throughout their time at Iowa.
And Kelly and I are new to the webinar technology. Our team has done webinars before, but this is the first time Kelly and I are engaging on this adventure. So if we have any tech issues, we apologize ahead of time. And knowing you guys are all recruiting IT, you get it. So bear with us as we move forward today. To tell you a little bit, this session really came about. We added this session because over the last, I would say, 3 years, we have gotten a lot of questions about hiring IT on campus. And Kelly and I do a lot of dual calls with companies looking to hire our students because IT comes from a lot of different places on campus. And so we really felt like this niche webinar could help a lot of you out there find the best IT campus. So we're going to provide an overview of the majors and programs we have. We're also going to discuss strategies for connecting with our students, and that'll be low cost, really basic stuff to bigger examples of things organizations are doing. And a lot of it will be from our insight from consulting we've previously done, but also we sought feedback from our departments as well to help you navigate where are the best places to find our students.
Specifically, at the end of the presentation today, participants will be able to articulate the IT majors, minors, and certificate programs offered at Iowa, learn more about the number of students in these programs, as well as where to find other demographic information, articulate at least 2 new ideas for building relationships on campus, and create 1 or 2 new contacts to use as a resource when developing your campus recruitment strategy or other employee relations outreach. In addition to these objectives today, there's been a lot of changes around the university in terms of our majors and our minors and some programs, so we just want to make sure that you know what those programs are and where you can connect with the students that have the skill set that you're looking for.
The other thing I would say with the Zoom technology, some of you guys might be new to using Zoom as well. There is a spot for Q&A. If you would post a question in there, the Q&A is all only seen by us, and we will answer those throughout the webinar. We'll also have some times where we might ask you guys some chat questions, and the chat can be seen by all participants. So we're going to try to use that a couple times, but if you do have questions, we'll take questions throughout, but have time at the end for Q&A as well. So first we're going to start talking about what majors do we have at Iowa. What we find as we benchmark other institutions is there are a lot of different majors for IT on campuses and different ways that colleges have created new majors, certificates, etc. So at Iowa, we have a computer science major, an informatics major, a new computer science and engineering major, and a business analytics and information systems major. And now we're going to go more in depth on what are the differences, how do these majors differ, and what ones should you target.
We're going to start with the computer science major. The undergraduate program in computer science provides the knowledge required for long-term success in a rapidly changing field. Computer science emphasizes not only current techniques, tools, and programming languages, but also emerging conceptual frameworks that provide a view of the future. Undergraduates majoring in computer science develop competence in programming principles and methodologies, problem-solving techniques, mathematics, and computer systems. Students may declare a major in computer science when they are admitted to the university or after, and they may pursue a Bachelor of Arts or a BA or a Bachelor of Science known as a BS. Both degrees require a mixture of skills in mathematics, programming languages, and theory. The BA program offers a solid computer science foundation, plus substantial freedom to combine computer science with a second major or minor to explore other interests. The BS program provides more extensive education in computer science with a greater emphasis on natural sciences, mathematics, and foundations of computer science. Both degree programs require Calculus 1 and 2. The BA requires one additional mathematics course, while the BS requires 2. The BS also requires several additional computer science elective courses.
And I would tell you guys, we are going to send the PowerPoint out to everyone afterwards, and you'll see that I have highlighted under course requirements. Those are all live links that'll take you to the departmental pages. And Kelly and I talked about, we are not the experts in all of the electives offered, all the programming languages, etc., but those links will take you to information from the department specifically.
To give you an idea of the demographics in the computer science program, last fall we had 643 undergraduate students and 99 graduate students. Final numbers for this fall are usually calculated about the 3-week period, so we can provide more information after those numbers have been finalized. Within the computer science department, there is a minor in computer science that students in some of the other majors will take coursework to gain minor courses. There's also a certificate program called Large Data Analysis. Large data analysis uses computer science, statistics, and mathematics for handling, processing, and extracting information from today's faster and smaller sensors. It has a wide range of applications, such as finding out what's under the ground, identifying groups of people via Facebook, understanding the genome, searching for the causes of diseases, and ways of preventing, controlling, or curing them. Within the university, through our registrar's office, there's a number of further demographic information. So if you'd like to find information on breakdowns with gender, ethnicity, gender or geographic locations, where our students are from, when Crystal sends out this PowerPoint, it'll be linked to the profile of students, so you'll be able to find the demographic information for all of the majors that we're discussing today.
And we added that because we know as you all are choosing schools to target, the demographics come into play. And so that's something we get a question from frequently. We can also help you find that information and dig into those reports, but we wanted to let you know where we gain that information from. The next one we're going to talk about is informatics. And informatics combines competence in computational methods with expertise in a particular domain, such as geography or public health, which supports informed decision making. Similar to the computer science degree, this has a Bachelor's of Arts or a Bachelor's of Science and a grad or undergrad program. Both programs combine foundational informatics coursework with coursework in a cognate discipline. The Bachelor's of Arts major in informatics offers the cognate areas of art, economics, geoinformatics, health informatics, human-computer interaction, linguistics, music, social informatics, and individualized cognates, mouthful. The Bachelor of Science major in informatics offers the cognate areas of bioinformatics, medical informatics, and individualized cognates. So if you're looking for a student in the informatics major, you for sure can just search resume books and keywords and interact with students in informatics. But if you're really looking for one of those cognate areas, you can drill down even further in the arts or science track. The enrollment numbers for informatics in fall of 2016, we had 132 undergraduate and 24 graduate students, and there is a minor in informatics as well.
The next program, specifically in the College of Engineering, is our new computer science and engineering major. New in fall 2016, the Bachelor of Science in Engineering with a major in computer science and engineering combines the technical content of a computer science degree and a computer engineering degree into a single program. Jointly taught by faculty from the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering and Computer Science, the program provides students with a strong theoretical and conceptual understanding of the principles underlying computer software and hardware, along with the engineering analysis, design, and multidisciplinary team skills needed to develop large and complex systems containing both hardware and software components in a rapidly changing field. Iowa's Computer Science and Engineering program is the first in the state of Iowa and one of only 12 programs nationwide that offers as accredited degrees in this major. The curriculum has been developed in close consultation with our industrial advisory boards to produce graduates best suited to meet the current and future needs of business and industry. It's the only program in Iowa that seeks accreditation by both the Engineering Accreditation Council and the Computing Accreditation Council. Looking at enrollment in the Computer Science and Engineering program, our fall 2016 numbers were 61 undergraduate. There's currently not a graduate program within the Computer Science and Engineering track, and projections for fall 2017 are closer to 150 students. So this department is rapidly growing as awareness grows with it. In addition to computer science and engineering, part of our electrical and computer engineering department, there's also an electrical engineering major. Enrollment numbers for fall 2016 in that program were 317 undergraduate students and 65 graduate students. Within those 317, almost a third of them also had a computer focus. So a lot of them are still gaining the same technical skills and rigor of a computer engineering program, but they're still under our old curriculum in electrical engineering. But students in both degree programs total about 380 students. So potentially students in the electrical engineering track or degree program could have some of the same skill sets. But as we further develop this computer science and engineering program, that'll probably be the major that you look to target down the road.
The last one we're going to speak about today is the Business Analytics and Information Systems track. And for those of you who are on the call who've been recruiting for a while, this formerly was the MIS, or Management Information Systems major. But due to the high need and the request from employers for more curriculum around business analytics, the business analytics track was created about 4 years ago. On the BA side, it's really about learning to manipulate and evaluate data to inform strategic business decisions and process improvements. And we're finding our students can really come in, and many of them are creating their own internships and positions with organizations. I know even at the Career Center, we all have data that we want to do analysis of, but do we have the right person? And so this has been really neat to see the new opportunities come up for our students. Now on the IS track, or the Information Systems track, it's about learning to manage and maintain the hardware and software systems businesses use to collect, organize, and secure data. And I would tell you, with the Business Analytics and Information Systems major, the department is very, very open to feedback from organizations. I think sometimes we might hear that maybe students are lacking in a particular programming language across all of our CS majors, and we want to be on top of things. We want to meet the needs of our employers. We, of course, can't teach all languages, but if you have feedback about any of our majors or curriculum, the faculty are very, very open to hearing that. Within BAIS, students partake in a capstone project. So they solve a real-world problem for a real-world client through the use of data. And they develop a software application or propose a whole new process and present the solution to the client or hand off a working prototype. The department does partner with employers and organizations to do those capstone projects. So I can always put you in contact with that person if that's something you're interested in sponsoring or assisting with. They also have a TIPI Analytics Cooperative. So analytics students provide business solutions for real-world clients through student consulting projects. Within the BAS major for fall 2016, we had 130 undergrads. Now, if you guys would add up all of our students that we have listed, this is total students enrolled in those majors. So it's not just seniors graduating. We're about 1,100 students across all of our IT majors on campus. But they're one of the most highly sought after groups. So we really wanted to, on the front end, share what are the majors, what are the differences. We didn't get into the weeds on particulars around curriculum and courses, but we really want you to go check out those course requirement links to learn more and let us know if you have questions. We can partner with faculty on answering those. But now we're going to transition into recruiting strategies. So, these are the most highly sought after students, and it's the #1 call we get about how do we find these students. So Kelly and I really want to delve a little deeper into recommendations we would have for you for connecting with these students on our campus.
Before we move on, does anyone have any questions about majors or numbers within those programs or curriculum? Crystal and I area of expertise is not technical, so I think we're glad to move on from some of the technical requirements and kind of focus on what we talk about on the daily basis with employers and building a relationship on campus.
So some of you guys might have attended our second webinar, which was on building your brand on campus. Some of these things are similar to that, but we're going to deep dive a little bit further into the IT world. But regardless of the majors that you're recruiting on campus, it all starts with a job description. And within our system, hirehawk.com, we approve every single job that comes in. And what I would tell you is we'd love to consult on every single job description that comes in and provide feedback to people, but we're not able to do that because of sheer volume. If you do ask us, we will look at your job descriptions for you, and we're very open to that. But many people could spend more time here. The job description really tells students what you're seeking, what type of position, the details of the job. Specifically, if you have internships or part-time work, what is the description? What is that student going to be held accountable for? What are the goals and skills that you're seeking in them? And it helps the student to research your organization. It helps them to get interested in it. And if it doesn't have an attractive job description, they're going to pass by that right away, regardless of your organization. So this is important because it's the way that you start building your brand. So we really recommend starting on the front end with an attractive job description.
And also a broad job description if possible. I work with a lot of students who, are frustrated because a lot of the jobs that they apply to, say 2 to 5 years of experience, when I've specifically heard from the employer that they're willing to accept entry-level candidates. And so just be careful and understand that a lot of the wording that you put in that job description, students can take that, very seriously. And if you have certain requirements and they don't have those exactly, they might be a little bit discouraged to apply.
So the next phase is really developing your campus brand. And I saw that Marianne's logged in from John Deere. We're going to pick on John Deere for a minute too. But here with developing your campus brand, I put up Google, State Farm, Microsoft, John Deere. These are all large employers that recruit on Iowa's campus. And when you think about their names and logos, you think about what makes them unique to our students. But what I want you guys to do is I want you to think for a second, and I'd actually like you to pull up your chat and think about 1 or 2 words that describe your company and your brand. And we're just going to take a minute. If you guys can put that in the chat, when you think about your organization's brand, what makes you unique, type in 1 or 2 words. Hopefully you guys talk about this a lot with candidates, so don't hesitate. Okay, we have integrity, quality, stable, railroads and computers, quality, integrity, future fit, simple, straightforward, open. What's kind of fun when we've done this exercise in the past, you guys see that there's a little bit of overlap. But I was in a room at a conference and someone said, we do aerospace engineering. That's what makes us unique. And there happened to be another person in the room that did aerospace engineering. You know, when you think quality makes you unique, diversified culture, employee owned, how many other people on the call also would say that their integrity makes them unique? And so when you think about your brand, we're not really as unique as we think we are. And you have to prove to students your brand and what makes you different, especially if you're not John Deere and you're not an organization where your name is recognized. How do they know to apply to you? How do you make yourself unique to our students on campus?
The first step in making yourself unique and building a relationship with the University of Iowa is to start by building your partnership with the Career Center and the College of Engineering. And there are numerous ways to do that. The first step, if you haven't already, have a Recruiting at Iowa call with our employer team. Crystal, myself, some other staff on the Pomerantz Career Center can talk to you about your options, your goals, your needs, and how we can help you connect with the right students. We'll also help you brainstorm strategies and discuss your hiring needs, what a time frame might look like when you need to start recruiting those students. We'll just work with you to kind of understand your overall needs for your organization. We'll also talk and share some of the things that your competitors might be doing on campus, some of the things that help make them stand out and help them connect with the right students. And going along the same lines, we'd love to hear from you maybe on some things that works on other campuses that you work with other schools.
And I would just tell you guys, you know, when we think about recruiting at Iowa, that's really this webinar is the similar calls that we have, but that whole piece on hiring needs, your culture, your unique organization, we want to tailor that. And today, as we talk about these strategies, we understand that there's differences in hiring numbers. Are you looking to hire one person or are you looking to hire 50? You know, that very much impacts your strategy. There's differences in the amount of time and resources you have. And so we understand that, and we're going to talk really broadly today, but on a call we might tailor it more specifically to your organization.
And also the time frame. Are you planning out your strategy in the fall, or are you just doing more of a just-in-time kind of hiring in, you know, March or April? And our strategies and recommendations might be different given the different time of the year that we're talking with you.
Next up, utilize HireHawk. I would put a disclaimer out there that our final webinar in the series is all about HireHawk. So on August 9th from 2 to 3, we'll be having a webinar specifically about HireHawk. But when it comes to IT hiring, I would tell you guys, don't forget about the system, right? So if you're coming to one of our fairs, you want to be sure to have your jobs posted. You want to be sure to contact students through the resume book. If you haven't used our resume book before, I highly recommend it. You have to have posted a job and then ask us for access to it. But this can be a really great way to have the students come to you and really meet them where they are and say, hey, we saw your information in HireHawk. We're really interested in you stopping by to see us. Or, you know, if you're recruiting off cycle outside of fair season, to directly email those students. That high touch matters, and HireHawk can help you to do that.
Just like we talk to students about using a variety of resources in their job search, we also talk with employers about using a variety of resources and ways to recruit on campus. HireHawk is a great way to get started, but the companies that have the best success at the University of Iowa are present on campus in various ways. One of those could be one of our career fairs. We have engineering career fairs, we have college job fairs, we have some more niche career fairs, but those are a great way to get in front of the students that you're looking for. We also have a very robust mock interview program where we bring companies in usually 2 or 3 days a week each semester, all semester long, to interview different students and provide feedback. You may or may not be hiring, but it's a great way to provide information and service back to the student, and possibly identify some candidates that have the skill set that you're looking for in those mock interviews as well. And within those, we can kind of customize them. You know, if you're only opening up your mock interviews to IT students, great. If you want to open it up to any students, we can do that as well. If you want to spend a whole day on campus in one of our interview suites, or if you want to, you know, just do a morning or an afternoon, we can do that as well. I think I jumped ahead. I'm sorry, Crystal.
That's okay. And many of you guys have worked with Sarah Burden in our office. She sets up the mock interview program. And this is one instance where we've tailored it to organizations looking to hire IT and done mock interviews specifically around IT students. So that's something Sarah can work on with you as well. And I believe she just started doing her request for mock interview participants for fall.
The other two ways I was going to mention are on-campus interviews. We can work with you to set up on-campus interviews throughout the semester, and course involvement. We have a lot of companies that do presentations and work with our students and faculty on group projects. Specifically regarding the career fairs, they're typically held in late September, early October each year, and then again in February in the spring semester. And they provide you the most exposure to the largest number of students at one time, with typically 12 to 1,400 students in attendance. We typically have between 160 to 180 employers in attendance, recruiting for full-time positions and internships at the job and internship fair, and about 100 to 130 companies that attend the engineering career fair. Which fair to attend if you're looking for IT majors? Crystal and I can chat with you about the different types of skill sets that you're looking for to make recommendations about which fair might be best for you. We have numbers of each of the different majors and which fair they typically attend. It's not always the best fit for everyone, and sometimes it can be cost prohibited. We definitely understand that, so we're going to talk about some other strategies as well.
And I would just say we didn't put the numbers out on the slides in regards to where the IT students are coming, because it's not black and white, and that's tough. You know, we can't tell you if you're looking for a particular niche of IT, this is the fair you need to go to. I think sometimes for people it's about where the students are coming, but also what your schedule looks like. And this is where I was talking about the resume book. So if you can't come to both the engineering fair and the large fair and you're looking for IT, pick one, and then broadly market. That's the one you're going to be at for the students to stop by and see you. Use that resume book to tell the students, if they're not engineering students, they can still go to the engineering fair, stop by and see us. And we really recommend that. And you know, these bullets up here on the slide, they seem pretty simple, but you have to be approachable. You have to engage with students. These IT students, I'm going to generalize for a minute, but there's a large number who are more introverted, who, you know, that people interaction and the outgoingness might not be their core strength. And so how can you get them to come to your booth? How can you be approachable? It's very, very important with these students. We're not going to talk tons about on-campus interviews, but for those of you who haven't utilized our space before, we have 22 interview suites that you can use at the Pomerantz Career Center to do on-campus interviewing. Many times the day after a large fair and the engineering fair, we have organizations that stay directly after to do interviews. We also have organizations who come back a week or two later, so you for sure can use our space. And some companies will use the system to help set up those schedules. Some companies will build their own schedules at the fair. And you guys get it, right? The race for talent in the IT world is really, really competitive. And so we find most of our IT companies stay pretty quickly and come back pretty quickly to get those students in the pipeline, because if not, they'll be snatched up by someone else. So we can for sure help you talk about on-campus interviewing and what might be a fit for you. We also know many of you guys are looking at video technology, and so we are training our students on using virtual technology, and we do have space where students could do a Skype with your organization or use one of our spaces to interact with you virtually as well.
Another way that you can get involved with students and also connect with the classroom setting and faculty is through classroom presentations and projects. I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit, but many of our courses have built-in opportunities for employers to participate. Some of the classes we have, our faculty are very open to have employers come in and talk about maybe your career story. We love to hear from alums. Sometimes it could be challenges or IT related things that are going on within your organization to present on a specific technology issue, a specific career topic. You could also be a guest evaluator of our final projects. I know specifically in the College of Engineering, our students also go through a capstone design project, and at the end of the semester, usually in early May, we have an event called Modern Marvels, where students will give presentations on their senior design projects, and we invite industry representatives in to come and see what our students have been working on throughout the year, also serve as judges and facilitators for that event. So lots of opportunity to get involved in class projects and just other course projects. Just like Crystal mentioned with the BAIS major within engineering, we're happy to collaborate on some of our senior design courses or even other courses where maybe you can connect with students a little bit earlier, like in their junior year. So if you have an idea, or maybe take it back to some of the technology gurus at your company about how can we come up with a project that maybe the students could work on for a month or a semester long.
And I would just tell you guys, so we have a lot of organizations that want to get into classes, but 2 tips I've learned over the years. Number 1, talk to your alumni about their favorite faculty. Generally, their favorite faculty member is someone who is open to engaging the conversation. And it's not just about asking if IBM can come and speak in a class. It's about meeting with that faculty, building a relationship. They want to ensure that you're someone who is going to be the right person to speak in the course. It might take building that relationship first before they're able to have you come in. And then what topics can you speak on? Is there some really cool technology that your organization is creating, is utilizing that they maybe aren't even aware of? And how can you be feedback partners around that? So really think about ways to engage, through your alumni, but also building relationships over the long run.
And keep in mind that faculty are usually planning out their projects and their course schedules usually the semester in advance or like right now for the fall. So if you have an interest in presenting to one of these classes in the fall, connect with Crystal or I, and we can tell you what courses might be most appropriate so we can get you connected with the appropriate faculty member before it's too late. If you're thinking, design projects or some sort of other projects, again, probably now is the time for the fall, maybe even the spring. Different majors have different lengths of projects. So that might be on the radar. I don't think it's too late on our end for this upcoming year. The other thing that we want to mention is tabling. We also have employers that will come in and staff a table for a few hours during the day, a lot of times over some of the busier rush of the day. You can do that both in the College of Engineering, also in the College of Business, again, depending on what audience you want to target. Sometimes we have employers do it more broadly campus-wide in our Iowa Memorial Union on campus. You can reserve a space online for a lot of those tabling options, or you can contact one of us directly. Kind of like a career fair, but it's just for you specifically. A lot of companies will give out swag. Sometimes they might bring in breakfast or just offer resume reviews. So there's various ways that you can connect with students through tabling in one of the locations.
And a lot of times people will combine these strategies together. So maybe you do tabling for a couple hours, mock interviews for the afternoon, and you're presenting to an organization that evening. So how can you make the most out of your day on campus? So that leads me to connecting with the student organizations. There's lots of different ways you can connect with our student organizations, whether that be direct presentations, networking events, panels, and sponsorships. In this slide, I have a link to OrgSync. This is a link that gives you all of our organizations on campus. So maybe you're looking for IT, but you're looking for Greeks and you want to connect with our sororities and fraternities. This is kind of more broader ranging. The next slide I have, Kelly and I put together links specifically to our IT orgs web pages. We don't need to be the intermediary between you and these organizations. We can for sure help if you don't hear back. Presidents always change at different times throughout the semester, and we know they're on their phones over the summer, but sometimes they don't always get back to you. So we can help in those instances, but you can reach out directly to these organizations. And you know, the largest ones I would tell you, ACM is very large in regards to an organization. Tippy Tech is a growing org. And then in engineering, what would you say is your largest ones, Kelly?
Our Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers is pretty large. If you're looking for some of the diversity groups, we have a lot of those as well, like our National Society of Black Engineers or our Society of Women Engineers. Women in Science and Engineering is nice because it encompasses not only engineering, but some of those other STEM and science-related majors as well. All of them, I think, are really pretty active at this point.
And within these, many of these organizations will partner together to host companies. So say you're not just looking for BAIS and CS and computer science and engineering, you want them all. They'll partner together, and they do a really good job of that, partnering together if a large organization or a small organization wants to help and give back to them. We had a question from the audience. Can you share how many people may be in each student organizations to give an idea of size? So I mentioned to you Tippy Tech had, or not Tippy Tech, BAIS had 130 students that are in the major. And so Tippy Tech could have pre-business students, students maybe not declared. I would say last year, I think the organization had about 70 members. Kelly, do you know about any of yours?
In engineering, I would say most of them have around 30 to 40. Women in Science and Engineering probably has about double that just because it's encompassing more majors. But most of them have probably a good 30 to 40 that are active.
And some of them have, I put on the previous slide, mini networking events that they allow the other orgs to come to also. So, and we can get you those specific numbers if you need them. You can reach out to me. So develop an internship or co-op program. And here for IT, I would even tell you before you think about this, do you have part-time positions? If you're within the corridor, what we call Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, a lot of our IT students will work part-time and stay on with the organization, doing an internship, doing full-time work. But if you're not local, for sure having an internship matters. Intern conversion is key to that full-time pipeline. And we're finding that in the IT world, some companies even take students as freshmen and sophomore. We know that's a bigger risk for ROI to convert them year over year. But in the fight for talent, you helping them explore IT within your organization helps them discover IT as a major and helps, you know, on both sides, get more people interested in it, but then build a pipeline for your future talent. So if you don't have an internship program, we have a staff person, Lindsay Adolphs, who can help you create an internship. We have an internship manual that we will include with the PowerPoint that gives you some good guidance around structuring an internship program. Many of you probably have interns with you this summer. And I think it always kind of rejuvenates me just to see that fresh talent and fresh perspectives. So for sure, this is a strategy we would highly recommend.
And keep in mind, as you're looking to hire interns or even part-time students, you know, what your requirements would be in terms of how much, you know, if you're on the coding side, how much programming language they would need to have. Within engineering, and I also know computer science, you know, they're starting off with computer courses where they're using C, C++, within that first semester. So some of the freshmen that you talk to at that career fair, depending on if it's the fall or the spring, might already have a year of programming under their belt. And with the increase in K through 12 outreach and just the general awareness of STEM, a lot of the students are getting exposed to coding earlier and earlier. A lot of them are doing summer camps. They might be taking Project Lead the Way courses in high school. They might be going to hackathons. They might be, playing around on their own. So a lot of the skills these students have even coming into Iowa. So I hope you keep in mind, like Crystal said, it's so important to engage them early on, that some of these first-year students and second-year students might have the skill sets that you're looking for just to be great interns or co-ops.
And remember, your interns are your brand on campus when they return. So good, bad, or indifferent, how was that experience? If they're people that you're offering full-time positions to, could you use them to help build your brand on campus? We know that you'd like to all live in Iowa City and be on campus daily, but your students are. So how can they help you reach out to those organizations, build relationships? Some companies have paid positions for students to be liaisons. Others just utilize them to come to career fairs and help them develop their list of contacts. So lots of different ways you can do that.
Engineering also has a co-op program, and I know co-ops can mean different things at different companies and different schools, but typically at Iowa, it's usually a semester and a summer. So we do have students that take off a semester and work sometimes an 8 or 9 month co-op, January through August, or May through December. So if that model works best for your organization, we definitely have students open to that. If interns is better, that's great too. But I just wanted to throw that out as an option about those extended internships and co-ops. Beyond the typical classroom presentation, job postings, or mock interviews, there's numerous other ways that you can kind of get creative and talk with us about creating your brand on campus. One of those is a company recruiting day. And that's really just kind of combining all the things that we kind of talked about. We want to make the most of your time at Iowa. So if you know that you're going to be coming in and doing mock interviews for a half a day, maybe you do a tabling for a couple hours over the lunch hour, and maybe you stay and give a classroom presentation later in the day, kind of brand it as a company recruiting day.
Sophomore experience days. So this really, I think, started most in the accounting world. As Kelly mentioned, in STEM, people are getting into high schools. Our accounting recruiters come and speak to the high schools when they're on campus. But how can you get them to experience your organization? Maybe you can't do a freshman or sophomore internship, but have a formalized job shadow day. Sometimes organizations will do this over winter break. Sometimes they'll do it over summer. And some it's more informal. Anyone can come. There's no screening. For some, they actually interview for their sophomore experience days. And then out of that 2-day experience or 1 to 2 day experience, they make internship offers. So are there ways that you can help younger students learn more about your company and your brand, even if you don't have an internship early?
Another option is hackathons. We see these becoming more and more popular with our students. One specifically that we have coming up at the university is a Midwest Big Data Hackathon. Last year was the first year that they started this event, and it will be coming up again in, I think, early October. But there's opportunities to serve as a mentor, a judge, or even a sponsor for this 2-day event that typically brings in about 150 participants. And they're not just students. Sometimes they're high school students. Sometimes they're professionals in industry. So it can be a great way to meet some people that are, again, having that skill set that you're looking for. Another option would be site tours. A lot of times our student organizations will partner up with a company and visit your facility. It could involve some sort of presentation about the company, but just kind of giving students an opportunity to meet people within the company and see firsthand some of the things that you have going on.
And I would say the students pick a geographic location generally and then build their site tours and their company visits in. So if you're in a geographic location that maybe isn't sexy for our student orgs, you also could put out there as you're reaching out to them to do a virtual site visit. You know, can you do a presentation to them? Are there ways for them to engage and see your organization without actually being there? And we've seen that done a little bit as well.
And also sponsorships. We have sponsorship options for our career fairs. We put out a resume book each year that we have employers sponsor ads within that book. It could be sponsorship of student organizations. It could be scholarships. So there's various ways to sponsor and again continue to get your name out to students.
Now, on that note, before we kind of recap, in the chat box or even in the question, are there other pain points that you guys are experiencing in hiring IT? So we know that competition's high, but are there particular skills that you're not finding on campus? Are there particular pain points that you see at Iowa or at other campuses? Maybe if you could kind of type in some other challenges or pain points that you've had in recruiting IT, and we can kind of feel together as a group about that, but also maybe address some of those and give you some other ideas. We'll take a minute if you want to either. You can type it in the question or put it into the chat.
As you're thinking of those, I just want to add that I think we're pretty open-minded to always trying new things. We like to try new ideas and get students involved. So if you have things that you want to try that might seem a little off the wall, shoot it by us. We're probably pretty open to it. There's one other thing I was going to mention. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention is, thinking back about career fairs, sometimes companies only have room in their budget to maybe do one career fair a year. I think if you're looking specifically on the IT side, the fair to go to would be in the fall because a lot of their students are coming in with job offers from previous internships or co-ops. They're getting recruited earlier and earlier in the year. So if you have to pick one fair, I think it would be one of the fall fairs. And then we have companies that will do other things on campus in the spring. So maybe you don't come to the career fair in the spring, but you come and give a class presentation or you do a site tour. You look for other ways to keep your name recognition around campus even if you're not at the fair.
So we've got a couple great things that have come up in the chat. So thank you guys. And I know everybody can kind of see the chat. Someone mentioned the challenge in sponsoring international students for a small company can be hard to manage. We know that in STEM fields, legally it's easier for you to sponsor than in some of the other fields, but there still are those challenges, and we for sure understand that. Just so that you guys know, I just read in the Press Citizen today, the number of international students at all 3 institutions across the state is dramatically down. The political environment is causing that, but also there were some things that occurred in our last year. And so we have about 300 new international students coming to Iowa. And so we get that'll always be a challenge, but we for sure want to help you with that. And we have a consultant that we use who's wonderful that we can put you in contact with if you have questions about sponsoring, but we want to help you any way that we can. Someone mentioned developing an IT program, internship program. We can for sure help with that, and we'll send some information about it, but we'd love to chat with you further. Keeping people in Iowa. We know this webinar is open to all of our constituents outside of Iowa as well, but if you're in a geographic location, how do you retain students here? And I think the number one way to do that is through an internship program. We have organizations. I live currently in Cedar Rapids. What about Cedar Rapids would want someone from Chicagoland, make them want to stay? And it's really experiencing it, knowing it can be a really great place. So yeah, for sure that can be a challenge. Efforts being done to get more IT students overall. I would tell you a couple things, and Kelly can add some here too. But within the College of Business, one of the business core requirements that students have to take is a computing course. And we gave feedback a couple years ago to the department that that needs to be their feeder for more students that came in pre-business to say, hey, I want to learn more about information systems. I'm interested in IT. As Kelly mentioned, we know that our youth are being exposed to it more and more, but I think there's a little gap in youth being exposed to our current group of Gen Z that are here on campus now. And so the College of Business redesigned that general computing course to really be more focused on exploration and learn skills, but also help them know more about the majors that they could go into in the future. Kelly, are there things, I know there's lots of things in the engineering world happening in high schools and with your outreach.
Yeah, we have a ton of K-12 outreach going on. But the other thing I was going to mention is all of our students also take in addition, like Crystal mentioned, that business computing course, engineering students take our engineering problem solving 2 course. So every student, regardless of major, is getting experience programming and coding. One of the things that I hear from students, and this is just anecdotal, but some of the companies that are becoming more popular to the IT audience is technology consulting. And the reason for that is because students are being exposed to working with clients, but also programming. And a lot of our students, I feel like I'm hearing this more and more, is that, for whatever reason, they have this sometimes misconception that they're going to sit behind a desk all day. And, so I think that's why IT consulting is becoming more popular. So, students can wear different hats within your company. That could help. I know that's not always possible depending on how your company's structured, but that is an area that's becoming more popular. So I think, there's opportunity to reach students with that skill set, even beyond some of these traditional majors.
And within computer science, within really across all of the majors we spoke about today, many students are now directly admitted into those majors. So within engineering, they know they're going to be majoring in engineering. Within business, they might be a direct admit or computer science. And they have seminar courses. Kelly teaches the one for engineering. We have one for direct admits in the College of Business, where they're really exposed to more things. And they're now even considering in the College of Business creating a sophomore level career exploration course to really explore all of those different majors. We know there's a slight gap in that, but we for sure would love to take feedback from organizations and see how we can incorporate you and more into the exploration process. Had a question in the Q&A box about renigs, and if you want to get Crystal fiery, this fires me up. It does happen though, and we get it. And I would tell you guys, we currently don't, if a student reneges an offer, we don't suspend their HireHawk usage or anything like that. We have a very strict conversation with them and really require them to write an apology letter. But at that point, it's too late, for you guys. And so what we really do, both for you and for students, is coach the students to be honest and ask for more time. With these really strict turnarounds on deadlines and quick turnarounds, it puts students in a really bad place. If they get an offer a week after the fair to say, I'm going to accept that right away, they're in a rock and a hard place. And so I coach the students, and we coach the students to say, hey, I have another interview process going on. Could I have more time? And how can they ask for more time as opposed to accepting and continue interviewing? Also on your end as recruiters, we know you need to know your numbers for projections and budgets and those sort of things, but really creating that candidate experience where they feel open speaking to you about that before, so you can then answer more questions about your culture, about why you're different, so you can help with your sales pitch on why you're a better organization. So those are some things I would recommend to you.
I'm attending a meeting next week with the Big 10 Plus Engineering Career Services Directors, and that's actually one of the topics on our meeting. And so I predict what might come out of that is for the Big 10 plus, at least in engineering, to kind of have some common language about what we would like to see from employers in terms of the timeline for offers, and whether that's 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I don't know just yet, but that might help you as you're recruiting at lots of schools for some of the bigger companies, knowing that we kind of have a agreed timeline that we'd like to put on our employer, so you're not competing with, you know, students that are accepting from one college and waiting from another college, and hopefully make that a little bit more uniform for you. I'll keep you posted on that.
Someone mentioned they were searching the resume book, and there's only 3 students in there right now for CSE. So how the resume book works is if a student hasn't logged in for 90 days, it bumps them out, and the students can self-select out as well. So we're in that kind of weird period in the summer where, as you guys know, a lot of internship postings are low. A lot of students are out there working. We'll see the number of students putting resumes back in increase greatly in September. So don't give up. That could be the reality, is that there's only that many seeking, but it'll peak again as we get closer to the semester. Someone did ask a question in there, you know, why are more students going into finance, accounting, and marketing? And you guys might all have your own answer for that, but I think that the perception is IT is harder. I don't know. What do you think, Kelly? I think, you know, it's not everyone's first mindset that they work with. And that's why I love the stuff happening with coding camps and things for younger students to be exposed to it. They're just not exposed to it and don't really know what it is and think it's harder. So I think the more we can do to educate is needed. You know, some of you guys who I interact with a lot know I have 3 little ones, and now there's coding toys for preschoolers. So we're only going to see more of that.
Hi, Scott. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to introduce myself earlier, maybe when you were here, but my name is Kelly Delphos, and I work specifically in the College of Engineering. So I represent all of our engineering majors.
Someone asked what Higher Big 10 Plus is that Kelly was mentioning. So we want to be the best consultants we can be to you guys, so we benchmark a lot. So there's a number of professional organizations we're a part of. We're a part of the Midwest Association of Colleges and Employers, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and then within the Big 10, there is an organization called Higher Big 10 Plus. The pluses, there's a couple of additional schools who aren't Big 10 that are also a part of that, but we do summer conferences and annual calls and that sort of thing to benchmark our competing institutions. The great thing about IT is we're not really competing, because you guys would take all the students, I think, if we produce more talent. So we really try to benchmark and make sure we're right up with the rest of the institutions. So to recap to you guys, we covered a lot today. We appreciate your engagement, and we continue to learn more from each and every one of you guys on the call. And we know that recruiting IT is challenging. Based on the number of staffing agencies popping up recruiting IT, we know there's a niche for this talent across the globe, whether that be minimal skilled to highly skilled talent. And so we want to help you guys. And, you know, these are just some strategies that we've come up with over time, but we'd love to connect with your organization further. And if you do want to give back in other ways to the university, whether that's through class projects or things, for sure, don't hesitate to reach out to Kelly and I.
We also have a lot of data. So if you have any questions about the going rate for interns in some of these IT fields or starting salaries, we can track down that data for you as well.
Well, that gets us right to 2 o'clock. So we will stay on for a minute in the chat boxes if anyone else has questions, but for sure connect with Kelly and I on LinkedIn, and we put our emails out there. Like I said, probably if not by end of day, by tomorrow morning, we will send you guys the slide deck. We will send out the recording as well as the internship information. And we're excited to see you guys all in the fall. So have a great rest of your summer.